about 16 and a half, 9 months roughly.
Yeah, right. And you come from an artistic family. You've got a history of art in your family. Just explain a little bit about.
Yeah, Doug, and he's been a full-time painter for a long time. He painted with Reg Campbell, as you know, sort of that tradition of going way back. And Dad always painted as a hobby, so it was always in the family. His brother Richie paints, and then Jean, his sister, paints and that. So, and David did for a while, Doug's son. So
yeah, so there's almost a dynasty of painting there.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah.
And what age did you become professional?
19. I had an exhibition with Greg Turner at Orange in 1980, I think it was.
Right.
And I think back then we sold about 25 paintings, and it was like, it was a couple of $1,000, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're getting $80 a week as an apprentice carpenter.
Kasey, something that a lot of people don't know about an artist is the support system they have behind them, their family. How's your family cope with your, because being an artist is quite a selfish pursuit in that you can need a lot of time to yourself to be able to achieve anything, and to have a family as well can be difficult on them. But
I'm lucky. I've had a very supportive wife in Denise who paints herself and does quite nice painting. So she started later, but she's always been supportive and had the boys and that, and put a lot of work and effort into them. So.
As far as early influences with your painting, a lot of artists, landscape artists, always attribute the Heidelberg School and whatnot. Who would you say were your biggest influences in your early formative years?
Yeah, I suppose you sort of Doug sort of giving you the basics of sort of impressed on me when I first started painting, to be outside and painting from nature and plein air. So still do it to this very day. Lucky enough to meet Robert Simpson, a very good painter. Learned a lot of him and that. And, the Heidelberg School, Streeton of course, and Hyson and Gruner and stuff. I was lucky to meet an old fellow by the name of Lance Solomon, who was quite a good painter, and just before he died.
So you've been influenced by a pretty broad range over a lot of years.
Yeah, and then you just do your own study. You go, visit galleries all around the world, and the Tate and the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, and so all the Impressionist paintings and things like that. But a lot of that's just can still it's sort of forgotten when you're outside painting something. You're just trying to catch that fleeting moment. So a lot of that stuff's probably processed in a way, but a lot of the time it can even be thrown out the window because you're just focused and concentrating on what's in front of you. So a lot of those influences have probably just naturally come through, but in a way you're driving your own vehicle, so that's usually it's still the basics of painting is getting colour, tone and drawing, shape.
So if there's any advice you could give to up-and-coming artists as far as art career, you've lived a long career and you've still got a lot ahead of you, what advice could you give young artists coming up today, just on how to develop their work and what they should be striving for?
Well, as I said in my book, I think it was tenacity, vision and passion. It gets down to that really. Yeah. Probably even tenacity is a thing that an artist has got to have.
Without it, you're sort of lost in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they'll give up, and everyone expects this sort of instant gratification that's in society these days. That I'll paint and I should be able to paint like Rembrandt after 2 days. Just doesn't work that way. Painting outdoors teaches you to see more. You see the subtleties in things, and you become a student of light and mood outside, the changing moods and lights, and as I've always sort of started training myself to have that slight photographic memory in a way, to nail an instant that you like the subject and painting, that has to hold up in the very even after a 3-hour painting session, you still want that feeling, that first 5 minutes in the painting.
Yeah, the initial thing.
Yeah, the initial thing that struck. You've really got to try and hang on to that, and that really takes a lot of practice to be able to do anything. It's, most of the time, it's to me the beauty of light falling on an object. No matter what it is. Like I'm talking about those horses there. Like they're horses. Then you've got a painting here in New York. So, and they both have got different light effects and scenes to them. But to me, it just struck me that makes a painting, and the play of light gives you all the different values as well. Dark and light happening.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in painting too. Looking for darks and lights. So makes it work.
You do a lot of work outdoors, being a plein air painter. You don't often paint by yourself, you often paint with a group. What benefits do you see in painting with a group of blokes?
It's very good. It's because like painting, as you know yourself, on your own, can be a pretty lonely thing. Where painting with a group every now and then is great because you have that bounce off one another and constructive critique. You see other people's interpretations of the subject that they've painted and that sort of thing. It's interesting in general, isn't it? So it's nice to have some tribal activity.
It comes to that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Out of all your travels, and you've travelled the world, you've travelled to Italy, and you've done a lot of painting over there, and you've travelled to the States, and you've been all over the place. Is there anywhere you'd particularly say, that was nice, I'd like to go back there?
Yeah, but as an artist, when you're seeing light, that, as you know, exists all around the world anyway, so it's whatever. I see pictures everywhere I go, but I do have a fondness for Italy, the architecture and the character of the place. And Venice is, even though it's been painted to death, it's still, you do a good job of it. It's still a special painting to me, So
paintings can often become cliche when it's the same old thing as the Opera House or the Harbour Bridge painted time and time again. How do you feel about that? Do you tend to stay away from those cliche type scenes?
No, it all depends how the light effect fits into it. Like, you can paint the Opera House. To me, it looks fantastic in winter because it gets beautiful shadows, running across the white of the buildings and that sort of thing. Summertime it flattens out a bit, but you could get 10 different artists 10 times different times through if they're true painters and searching all the time, not relying on formula, which is, to me nowadays, is 90% of the art world is a formulation where and I don't call them artists, they're more like bakers or cooks. Like they've got 4 recipes and that's what you see all around the countryside. But they go with the lounge and curtains and that sort of thing. So
that's right.
That's how the art world has gone. There's not much recognition for someone that can paint anything, or have a go at something and try and make a painting out of it.
How do you find the art market of today as compared to, say, 20 years ago?
I think it's deteriorated, but the average person has virtually zero knowledge or any concept of what goes into making a painting, or how hard it is to, say, do a painting of New York compared to just an ordinary little basic landscape with a river or something. They don't weigh that up, the skill levels and the different skill you have to do to be able to paint those sort of things. It doesn't come into the equation at all.
In saying that, do you think that education of the general public, even at an early age in Australia, is something we're lacking?
Yeah, well, the school system, they just have 1 or 2 things and then they move on to that sort of abstract things that most of the gallery system feeds on, so they don't get an idea of what plein air painting is, of being outside trying to capture light and mood and fleeting moments and things like that. There's probably no.
I know, and it's probably the same for you, but I always look forward to those camping trips.
Yeah.
You get away and
yeah, well, you don't have. there's no radio, no TV. The world could have blown up around you, so you're just involved in trying to capture that light on a cliff face or a light on the creek bed or whatever turns you on or grabs your eye to paint the picture, you know. So the rest of the world could be not there, but by the time you come out of the valley back into reality and same old drivel that's on TV and radios and stuff that just repeats itself.
Did you ever wish you were anything else?
No, never. Yeah. You know, for all the hard work and energy you put into paint, as you know, as an artist yourself, like if you'd become a doctor or a lawyer, you'd financially be 200 times better off, but you know, to me it's more about lifestyle and being creative feeds the soul, you know, all the time, so it's nice.